Today I'm going to share my recipe for my family's favorite chocolate chip cookies. These cookies are no fail and they turn out perfect every single time. And if you're like me, I like a soft, chewy cookie that's just a little bit crunchy on the edges. So right before making this recipe, I looked and saw that I did not have any brown sugar. So I wanted to show you really quick that you can make your own brown sugar at home. It's really easy. All you need is granulated sugar and molasses. So I used about 2 cups of granulated sugar and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of molasses, just depending on how dark of brown sugar that you want. And I just mixed these two ingredients together with my hands, and as you can see, the end product is exactly the same as store-bought brown sugar, and in my opinion tastes even better than what you could buy at the store. So for this recipe you need 3 sticks of butter, which, yes, I know that's a lot of butter, but these cookies are so good, decadent, delicious, rich. So if you're on a diet, you may not want to make these cookies, or you could just make them and let your loved ones eat them, and maybe you could just have just one. Then you will need a cup and a half of brown sugar and a cup and a half of granulated sugar. Now you will want to cream together your brown sugar, granulated sugar, and butter for about a minute or two until it becomes light and fluffy. Next, I add about a tablespoon of vanilla. I don't really measure this ingredient, just put as much as you like. And then I'm going to add 3 eggs. Now my eggs are farm fresh eggs, so I like to crack them in a separate bowl just in case there's an egg that does not look good to me. Usually I don't have a problem with this, but today was like the first time in a very long time that I've cracked an egg open and I did not like the way it looked. So anytime you're in doubt, just throw it out, and I dumped this egg down the sink and I went and got a new one. If I would not have used this technique, I could have definitely messed up my cookie dough recipe and had to start all over. And these ingredients, especially the butter, are not cheap. So I'm glad that I decided to do it this way today. Now I'm just going to scrape the sides down on my mixer and just incorporate everything again to make sure everything is mixed in together well. And then I'm going to add my dry ingredients, and that is 4 cups of flour, and I use kamut flour, but you can use all-purpose. I did forget to say that this recipe makes a lot of cookies, so if you don't want this many, you can half this recipe. But I like to make a big batch and then put them in my refrigerator, and we just get them out any night that somebody has a sweet tooth, and we just bake them up. So here I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now you're just going to mix all of that together until well combined, and you want your cookie dough to be kind of dry and crumbly. You do not want it to be really wet and sticky, and if your dough is wet and sticky, you want to add just a little bit more flour to it until it is a little bit drier of a consistency. If your cookie dough is too wet, your cookies will just melt down into a really flat cookie and won't have that really nice cookie shape that we're going for. Now you're going to add in 3 cups of chocolate chips, and you can mix like chocolate chunks, chocolate chips, butterscotch, I believe is what I added because I was out of chocolate chips here. So I just added 2 cups of chocolate chips, and then I added a cup of butterscotch. And you could add nuts here, just whatever you add into the cookie, you want it to equal 3 cups. I just mix that together really quick until it's combined. I realized here that I forgot to start my oven when I got started, but I started my oven here and waited until it was preheated, and during that time I cleaned up my kitchen a bit and scooped out my cookies. So I get out my baking pans and I buy pre-cut parchment paper. It's just something that I have been doing now for a little bit of time, and I just love the convenience of that. So I'm going to just scoop out 8 cookies per cookie sheet, and as you can see, I'm not really sure what happened here, but my cookie scoop that is actually brand new broke. So if you know of a good one, let me know in the comments which one I should get. So I just start to use my hands and make them about a golf ball size, but you can make them whatever size that you like. So I just make 8 for each cookie sheet, and I bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. You do not want to overbake these cookies. You want to take them out when the edges are just slightly brown and they don't really look like they're cooked all the way through in the middle, but as they sit on the cookie sheet, I promise they will get done. So I cover this with saran wrap and I put this in my refrigerator. Like I told you earlier, my family loves to have something sweet in the evening, and I just cover this up and I put it in the refrigerator, and one of the boys will get this out and just make some cookies up if they want a dessert one night. And this just makes it quick and easy, so I don't have to come in the kitchen and make something. So with a cookie, the best thing for me to have is some coffee. So I'm making me a little bit of a protein coffee to go with my cookie after it comes out of the oven. For those of you interested in my coffee maker, it is a Breville Barista Express. I love this thing and I use it almost every single day. When the cookies look done, I take them out of the oven and I kind of bang them on the counter or the oven here just a little bit to flatten them. And then I just leave them on the cookie sheets for a few minutes so they can continue cooking just a little bit more. You don't have to do this step, but my family really prefers the taste of a little bit of sea salt on the top of our cookies. It brings out the chocolate flavor and just makes them so delicious. These cookies are so soft and chewy even after being stored for a couple of days. These cookies are so good, and I'm sure they'll satisfy your sweet tooth just like they do ours. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great day.